After my boyfriend picked up his new car, he suddenly had a colleague to carpool with to and from work. He picked her up for work and dropped her off after work without fail, regardless of the weather. And this carpool partner would also carefully decorate the interior of the car as if she were the mistress of it. She placed the scented candles she liked in the car, and even threw away the flat shoes I had put in the front passenger seat and replaced them with a pair in her own size. On a torrential rain day, I waited alone at the entrance of the company for an hour before my boyfriend leisurely drove over with his carpool partner. The girl sat in the front passenger seat and smiled sweetly as she apologized to me. "Sister, I eat slowly and delayed your boyfriend from coming to pick you up. Please don't be angry." Before I could say anything, my boyfriend affectionately flicked her on the forehead. "Sabrina is very mature. Unlike you, who needs to be coaxed even when eating. You're just like a child who never grows up." Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. Subscribe us to read wonderful novels every day. Now the story begins. On that stormy day with thunder and lightning outside, I stood at the entrance of the company, anxiously waiting for my boyfriend, Fitch, to pick me up and take me home. Under such extreme weather conditions, it was generally very difficult to hail a taxi. My surrounding colleagues were all complaining that it took too long for taxis to accept orders, and they would have to wait at least half an hour. Since my car was sent for maintenance and hadn't been driven back yet, I suddenly felt grateful that I had given a car to Fitch last month. At least at this moment, it came in handy for me. I waited and waited. One group of colleagues after another was picked up, and soon I was the only one left. Only then did my boyfriend's car leisurely drive closer from a distance. The car window rolled down, and Fitch said to me, "Sabrina, have you been waiting anxiously?" As he spoke, he opened the door of the back seat for me. "Hurry up and get in the car." I leaned forward to take a look and then noticed that there was already a girl with long hair and a round face sitting in the front passenger seat. The rain was getting heavier, so I could only bend down and sit in the back seat first, and then put away my umbrella. "Oops, water, water." The girl in the front passenger seat turned around, pointed at my folded umbrella, and frowned as she reminded me, "Please put the umbrella directly beside the car door when you put it away. Otherwise the water will get all over the car. This car has just been picked up for a month, and the seats are all made of genuine leather." Her tone as if she were the mistress of the car made me feel very unhappy, and I have always been straightforward. I looked at her with a sneer. "Miss, this is my boyfriend's car. Even if it gets soaked, it's our business. What are you worrying about here?" The girl looked a bit embarrassed. Fitch got into the car right after and instructed me. "She just cares about our car and is kindly reminding you. Don't be so mean to her." I looked at him. "So who is she?" "Oh, her." Fitch pulled at his seatbelt. "I told you about her. She's my carpool partner for work, Tiffany. Tiffany works in the same company as me, and she also happens to live in our neighborhood. Since we're on the way to and from work anyway, I just give her a ride. Consider it doing a good deed." The car behind was honking the horn frantically, and Fitch was in a hurry, but he couldn't fasten the seatbelt no matter how hard he tried. Tiffany leaned over and thoughtfully fastened it for him. Then she turned sideways and smiled sweetly as she apologized to me. "I'm sorry, Sister Sabrina. I really shouldn't have been this late. It's all my fault for eating slowly and delaying your boyfriend from coming to pick you up. Please don't be angry." "What are you thinking?" Fitch held the steering wheel with one hand and tapped her on the forehead with the other hand. "Sabrina is much more mature than you. Unlike you, who even needs someone to coax you when you eat. I didn't have an appetite today because of my period," Tiffany retorted and reached out to ruffle Fitch's hair. Tiffany had a bit of baby fat, so she looked very cute and innocent when she puffed out her cheeks. Fitch even took the opportunity to pinch her face. The two of them were playing around as if no one else was there. I was momentarily lost in thought, savoring Tiffany's words. Outsider. Yes, at this moment, I really did feel like an outsider. Oh no, it would be more appropriate to say I was like a clown. After Fitch got the car, I heard him mention his carpool partner for work. "Sabrina, I don't have time for breakfast. I'm leaving now. Tina is waiting for me at the door." Tina got off work late today, so I'll wait for her for a while, which means I'll be home later. "Wife, Tina from our company praised the sandwich you made today and said she wants to taste your cooking again. Can you make one more portion tomorrow?" Tina. In the past month, Fitch had been willing to be her free driver. He picked up and dropped off Tiffany to and from work every day, even more punctual than a ride-hailing car. Even in such bad weather today, knowing that I was waiting for him in the cold wind. He still waited for Tiffany to finish eating in the cafeteria before leisurely driving his carpool partner to pick up his girlfriend, me, and take us home. Seeing that I had been silent, Fitch asked with concern, "Sabrina, why aren't you saying anything? Sister Sabrina, are you too cold to speak?" Tiffany also tilted her head and looked at me harmlessly. On the way here, I checked the weather. It's several degrees below zero today, and it's also raining. In such cold weather, you mustn't catch a cold, or I'll feel so guilty. As soon as she finished speaking, I sneezed. "Are you really cold?" Fitch observed my face through the rearview mirror and chattered on. "You know, your physical fitness is getting worse and worse. You're like this just after being in the wind for a while. I asked you to get up early and run with me every day, but you didn't want to at all. I have vitamin C here." Tiffany quickly took out a box of vitamin C from her bag and turned around to hand it to me. "Here, Fitch bought this for me. He said that taking it can increase resistance. Sister Sabrina, you should take 2 pills quickly." Fitch was a health enthusiast and indeed had the habit of running in the morning. When we first moved to this neighborhood, Fitch was keen on asking me to run with him in the morning, but every time I refused on the grounds that I wanted to sleep in. Later, he simply gave up. I was very prone to catching a cold every time the season changed, so Fitch would often prepare vitamin C for me. A few days ago, the bottle of vitamin C at home had just run out. I stared expressionlessly at the bottle of exquisitely packaged vitamin C that Tiffany handed me. The vitamin C that Fitch bought for me had always been the cheapest small white bottle that cost only 2 yuan from the pharmacy. I once complained that it was too cheap, but he said that the cheap ones were enough and that the expensive ones were just overpriced and sold to fools. But the vitamin C he bought for Tiffany was an imported product that cost several hundred yuan per bottle. It turned out that my boyfriend was so willing to be a fool for someone else. I didn't take the vitamin C and looked around. My gaze fell on the cushion. I liked the minimalist style. The plain-colored cushions in the car originally had all been replaced with blue stitch cushions at this moment. I frowned and asked, "Where are the plain-colored cushions I bought?" "Those." Fitch coughed lightly. "They're all in the trunk." Tiffany, however, opened her mouth in surprise. "Ah, were those cushions you bought?" "Sister, they were so ugly. I thought they were given by the 4S store. I just threw them into the trash can yesterday." It turned out that when people were speechless, they really would let out a laugh. I had been busy with work during this period and hadn't used this car. It was only at this moment that I realized that the interior of the car had already completely changed. In the front passenger seat that originally belonged to me, Tiffany had pasted a cartoon-shaped scented candle, which gave off a smell of cheap perfume. Around the pendant I had hung on the car mirror, a colorful rubber band that didn't belong to me had been wrapped around it. Even the nickname of the in-car system had been changed from Sabrina, that I set to Tiffany, the unrecognizable. Interior of the car everywhere showed the aesthetic taste of Fitch's carpool partner, and I felt like an outsider who was just hitching a ride. Just then, Tiffany looked at the in-car navigation and pouted as she complained. "It's so annoying to be stuck in traffic on a rainy day, especially when we took a detour to pick someone up. Sitting in the car makes me want to change out of my high heels." Fitch naturally responded. "Then change them. Aren't your flat shoes in the back seat?" Tiffany nodded and pointed to the back of her seat and said to me, "Sister Sabrina, please pass me the flat shoes behind this seat." I followed the direction she pointed to and indeed saw a pair of white flat shoes. My face instantly turned colder. "Where are the black flat shoes I originally put here?" "Oops, so those were your shoes, sister." Tiffany was surprised again. "I was wondering when I got such a pair of big and old-fashioned shoes." "I'm sorry, Sister Sabrina. I accidentally threw that pair of shoes away too. How about this? I'll ask Brother Fitch to compensate you with an identical pair." "Fine. Very good." Originally, I wanted to endure it until we got home and then settle the score with Fitch slowly. But I never expected that people could be so shameless. If I could still endure this, I would take her surname. "You want to change shoes, right?" I quickly pulled out 2 pieces of paper from the tissue box, bent down, and picked up the pair of shoes as if picking up garbage. Then I threw them hard at Tiffany. "Fine. Change them. Change them now." "Ah." Tiffany let out a scream. While dodging, she was scratched on the face by the pointed shoes. Tiffany immediately stretched out her hand in a flurry and covered her wound. Tiffany. Seeing this, Fitch casually stopped the car and leaned forward eagerly towards Tiffany. "Are you hurt anywhere? Let me see." Tiffany moved her hand away from her face with tears in her eyes. Brother Fitch, did I get disfigured? Wah, it hurts so much. Seeing the scratch on Tiffany's chin, Fitch turned his head and looked at me furiously. Sabrina, what do you think you're doing? Tiffany just asked you to pass her shoes. Why are you going crazy for no reason? Without saying a word, I grabbed everything around me that I could and threw them at Fitch one by one. Passing shoes. Right. In my entire life, I haven't even passed shoes for my own mother. Who does she think she is to deserve me passing shoes for her? I really gave you too much leeway, allowing you two to act all high and mighty in my car. This car was bought by me for Fitch. Last month, Fitch found a new job. Since he was still in his internship and worked long hours from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., he was very tired. I felt so sorry for him that I paid for a new energy vehicle for him. Nowadays, new energy vehicles have urban intelligent driving and camping modes. I originally thought that with this car, it would be more convenient for him to go to and from work, and during his lunch break, he could also have a private space to rest. But I never expected that he would immediately find a carpool partner for work. Not only did they go around together every day, but this partner was also acting like a T-girl in front of me and showing off her power. Seeing that I still wouldn't let it go, Fitch raised one arm to protect Tiffany and raised his voice. When will you stop? After all, she and I are just colleagues who carpool to and from work. That's all. Moreover, it was me who accidentally met her on the road 20 days ago. Seeing that she was a young girl and felt sorry for her, I invited her to ride with me to and from work. It wasn't her who took the initiative to ask. Upon hearing this, I stopped what I was doing and picked up the bag that had fallen beside the car seat unhurriedly. Oh, so you're just colleagues who carpool to and from work. Then tell her to get out of the car right now. I find her annoying. It's raining outside. Do you really have to make things so difficult for a young girl? Fitch said calmly. Starting from tomorrow, I promise that there will be no such person on my way to and from work. It's raining outside. So what? I sneered and raised my eyebrows. This is my car. Do I need to pick a day to tell an outsider to get out of my car? Tiffany, who was protected behind Fitch, seemed to be a bit angry. Sister Sabrina, I heard from Brother Fitch that you're 5 or 6 years older than both him and me, and you're almost 30. I don't know if it's because you're experiencing early menopause, but if you really are, take your medicine yourself. I'm not your punching bag. Wow, she was actually playing the victim. She even resorted to age shaming me. I was indeed 5 years older than Fitch. We initially met online and then met in person, but when I first met Fitch, I was just around their current age. Yes, I'm 29 this year. Maybe some people won't live to be 29. I interrupted her again. Even if they do live to be 29, with her qualifications, I'm afraid she can only squeeze onto a bus on a rainy day like this. How could she be sitting in a car bought by someone else, acting like she owns the place, just like a cuckoo taking over a magpie's nest? Tiffany was reduced to tears by my retort. Looking at her tears, Fitch's eyes also turned red, and he stared at me intently. You made her cry. Are you satisfied now? Of course not. I opened my bag, took out my phone, and opened the calculator. This young lady likes to throw things away. Right. There are a total of 4 cushions in the car, all of which are custom made from silk. Each one costs 2,000 yuan. So that's 8,000 yuan in total. Remember to compensate me for that. The shoes that she said were old-fashioned and big, which I originally put in the back seat of the car, were a birthday gift from my father. They cost 28,000 yuan a pair. Don't forget to pay for that either. And, enough. Fitch interrupted me coldly. Sabrina, I never expected you to be so unreasonable. Tiffany has a boyfriend too, and her boyfriend doesn't mind me giving her a ride to and from work. What are you so hung up about? Can't you think less? Can't there be a simple friendship between men and women? If you really care about her so much, we can just have less contact in the future. Is it necessary for you to throw things around, go crazy on the street, and even humiliate people with money? Before he could finish his words, I directly raised my hand and slapped him hard across the face. Who wants a future with you? Fitch, I'm officially notifying you now that you've been dumped. Take your crybaby girl and get lost. Fitch's head was whipped to the side by the slap, but it didn't seem to affect him in the slightest. Instead, he said calmly, I know you're just saying things out of anger. Given the situation, I don't think you'll listen to anything I have to say anyway. After saying that, Fitch opened the umbrella and got out of the car. He walked around to Tiffany's side, gave me a glance, and said, "Calm down by yourself in the car. Come find me after you've cooled off. Tiffany is very weak during her period and can't get caught in the rain. I'll send her home first." Supported by Fitch, Tiffany gracefully got out of the car. As soon as the sole of her foot touched the rainwater on the ground, she quickly withdrew it and said coquettishly, "Brother Fitch, I don't have the strength to walk." Fitch squatted down in front of her with his back facing her and said, "Get on my back." The rain outside had already subsided a lot, and it was now drizzling. Tiffany turned around and gave me a triumphant look. Even though she had been driven out of the car by me, her eyes were filled with the air of a victor. In fact, it would be a lie to say that I wasn't sad at all. I had known Fitch for 5 years and been in a relationship with him for 4 years. During our relationship, every time Fitch and I had an argument, he would leave with the words, "Calm down by yourself," and then he would disappear. He always thought that since I was older than him, I shouldn't act like a child and throw tantrums. During the time he was gone, I had to deal with all the emotions and anger from the argument by myself. Finally, when my emotions had subsided and I wasn't as angry anymore, Fitch would cook for me and give me a smiling face, and that would be the end of that argument. He always managed to get away with this tactic. Sometimes I would wonder, was I really that easy to please? Yes and no. We're all adults. No matter how much I love someone, I wouldn't put all the focus of my life on them. Sometimes, some senseless arguments did require both of us to calm down, but all of this was based on the premise that he hadn't made any mistakes of principle. Love is like a glass cup in the hand. I can hold it, or I can throw it away without hesitation. When I got home, I immediately changed the password of the door lock at home. I found a duffel bag and stuffed all of Fitch's things in the house into it. Then I dragged the bag and threw it out of the house with all my might. As expected, Fitch disappeared again. I didn't give him another look. This relationship was completely over for me. That night, I received a same-city express delivery from Tiffany. It was a cardboard box. When I opened it, it was full of the things she claimed to have thrown away. My pillows and shoes were all there. TSK. Didn't she say she threw them away? Why did she find them again when I asked her to compensate me? Tiffany somehow got my phone number and said seriously, "Please return my things as well and don't keep them for yourself." I couldn't help but laugh. Do I look like someone who would pick up trash? I'll have someone send the car for an interior cleaning tomorrow. If you want your things back, go and pick them up yourself. Sister Sabrina, you really have a sharp tongue. No wonder Brother Fitch doesn't even want to see you. Tiffany hung up the phone without hesitation, listening to the beeping sound on the other end of the phone. I shrugged indifferently. Who cared who that scumbag boyfriend wanted to see or not? Because I had been in the cold wind for too long yesterday. As soon as I got up today, I had a high fever. I had no choice but to take a sick leave. I stayed at home for a full 3 days before my spirits slowly recovered. During these 3 days, I hardly went out and didn't pay much attention to the outside world, until I accidentally came across a post on Zaya Hongshu. The 3rd day of my carpool partner being homeless. My boyfriend is on a business trip. He's been taking care of me during my period these days. So today it's my turn to accompany him to relax. A 1-day trip to the seaside. Let's go. At first, I was just being a bystander, thinking that such a short post contained so much information. But when I looked at the attached pictures, I got really angry. The picture was of Tiffany. Tiffany was actually sitting in that front passenger seat that I was so familiar with again. These days, because of my cold and fever, I had temporarily forgotten about the car. I completely forgot that Fitch still had a car key, and that scumbag actually drove my car and took Tiffany on a trip. I immediately opened the in-car system that was linked to my phone. The system showed that Fitch had gone to the car wash center that I often went to at noon yesterday and drove away the car that I had someone clean. I had just had the interior of the car cleaned, and then it was defiled by this despicable couple. My hands were shaking with anger as I rummaged through my phone to find his number. I dialed the number, and it rang for a long time. Finally, Fitch answered the phone unhurriedly. When he answered my call, his tone was a bit triumphant. "What? Have you calmed down? Did you finally can't help but look for me? Fitch, I'm giving you an hour to drive my car back to me. Otherwise, you'll bear the consequences." I angrily threw down these words and hung up the phone directly. An hour later, I heard the sound of the fingerprint lock at the door. Fitch was back. He tried the door lock several times but couldn't get in, and then he realized that I had deleted his fingerprint. Fitch knocked on the door. "Sabrina, I'm back. What's with the duffel bag at the door? Are you really going to kick me out? Instead of taking it seriously, his tone was teasing. I've already cooled down. But you're still angry. Seeing that I didn't respond, he said again, even if you're angry with me, open the door and let me in to coax you. Okay. I rolled my eyes behind the door. Fitch, if I remember correctly, I made it very clear to you the night before last. If you didn't understand, I'll say it again. You've been dumped by me. If you have any sense, leave my car key behind. Take the trash at the door, and get out of my sight. Fitch was obviously taken aback, seeing that my attitude remained firm. He finally couldn't hold it together. We've been together for 4 years, with such a long relationship. Just because of Tiffany, you're determined to break up with me. Seeing that being tough didn't work, Fitch coaxed me in a low voice again. Sabrina, open the door. Okay, I know I was wrong. All right, don't break up with me. I really can't live without you. Actually, I've had a really tough time these 3 days. Every day, I stayed alone in a hotel, lost my appetite, and had no mood to work at all. Hee hee. Men are really natural-born actors. If I hadn't accidentally come across Tiffany's post, I might have really believed him. I called the security department on the spot. This community was divided into 2 areas. One was the apartment building in the front, where Tiffany lived. The other was the large flat where I lived. The security system in the large flat area was very good. After a while, the security guards of the community rushed over fully armed. As I expected, Fitch was escorted away. Soon after, I received a message from Fitch. Sabrina, I heard that you had a fever a few days ago. The vitamin C at home is already out. I bought you a new bottle and left it at the door. Remember to take it and take care of yourself. He sounded so affectionate. I opened the door and indeed found a bright yellow takeout bag at the door. When I opened it, it was another small white bottle that cost 2 yuan. I was speechless. I couldn't understand why I still had to endure this humiliation even though we had broken up. I took out my phone and sent Fitch 1 cent. Your concern is worthless. Don't harass me anymore in the future. I thank your whole family. A dozen minutes later, Fitch updated a post on his WeChat moments. Come back when you've had enough of the tantrum. I'm still here. One of our mutual friends asked. Brother, what's wrong? Fitch replied. It's nothing. Sabrina is just being jealous for no reason and throwing a tantrum. I guess it'll take me a few days to coax her this time. Goodness gracious. Is there anyone who can take this crazy guy away? I felt disgusted in my heart. I clicked on Fitch's profile picture and blocked and deleted him completely. However, after pretending to be a loving and good man for just 2 days, when he found out that I was going to sell the car that was supposed to be his, Fitch finally couldn't pretend anymore. He came to me again, this time with an aggressive tone. Sabrina, how dare you sell my car without my permission? I looked at him in surprise. I'm selling my own car. Why do I need the permission of my ex-boyfriend like you? Actually, I didn't want to sell that car at first. I thought that since I had 2 parking spaces, and this car was electric and had autonomous driving, it would be convenient for me to use it for grocery shopping and such. But I never expected that when I was tidying up the car again, I actually found a used ultra-thin condom in the back seat. If I'm guilty, please let the law punish me. Just thinking about what Fitch and Tiffany might have done in this car made me unable to stand it. I directly posted it online for sale at a price much lower than the market price, just wanting to get rid of it as soon as possible. In the face of my retort, Fitch was rather confident. Even if you paid for that car, it's something you gave me. Sabrina, you're not that mean, are you? In my entire life, I've never seen anyone take back something they've given away. I retorted lightly. Well, now you have. No matter what I say, it's no use. You really want to take the car back and break up with me, don't you? You deserve all of this. Fitch was rebuffed and simply stopped pretending. He shouted, Sabrina, do you really think of me as your lackey? I'm not going to put up with this anymore. Break up then. Do you think I really want to be with you? To be honest, as soon as I saw Tiffany, I wanted to take care of her. I just like girls like Tiffany who are younger than me, cute, and innocent. She's purer than you, more charming than you, and 180 times better than you. I was unmoved and looked at him calmly. Are you done? If you're done, you can go find your Tiffany. I won't see you out. The next day, Fitch and Tiffany called the police. When I received the police's call and was asked to go to the police station, I couldn't believe my ears. MS. Sabrina, You'd better come to the police station so that we can take your statement. Sabrina, thought for a moment. Instead of rushing to the police station, I went to another place first. It wasn't until the afternoon that I arrived at the police station. As soon as I entered, I saw Fitch and Tiffany sitting on a bench not far away, affectionately interacting as if no one else was around. I finally got to witness what Fitch meant by needs to be coaxed when eating. I was simply amazed. Tiffany was giggling as Fitch coaxed her, and her voice was clear. A tall police officer holding a thermos cup couldn't bear to look at them but didn't say anything. He just looked at me, walked to the desk, and said, "Sabrina, right, you're finally here. We received a report from Miss Tiffany, saying that she left something valuable in your car and you refused to return it." I was confused. What valuable item? It's a bracelet. Only then did Tiffany push Fitch away, stand up, and raise her chin. It was the first gift my boyfriend gave me. I glanced at her. "May I ask, which boyfriend are you referring to?" "Of course it's me." Fitch, acting like a domineering CEO, put his arm around Tiffany's shoulder. "Let me introduce you. This is my new girlfriend, Tiffany. Although we've only been together for 4 days, my love for her far exceeds the love I had in the past 4 years. So I don't feel bad at all about giving her a bracelet that costs 20,000 yuan. What does your lost bracelet have to do with me? And you said I refused to return it. Are you just making things up?" Tiffany, however, was very confident. "That bracelet fell in the car that you just sold, so you should be responsible for this loss." As she spoke, Tiffany clasped her hands together in a pleading gesture, looking at the young police officer coquettishly, as if she was acting cute. "Uncle police officer, you will definitely stand up for me, right?" From the first time I saw Tiffany, I felt that this girl really liked to pretend to be innocent. She understood a lot of things, but she just had to pretend to be naive and romantic. Fitch fell for this kind of act. Fortunately, not all men were like that. The young police officer said expressionlessly, "Miss Tiffany, I can't promise you anything about this. Also, there's no need to call me uncle. According to the information, you're even older than me." Tiffany's smile froze on her face. I held back my laughter and suddenly thought that this guy was really to my liking. Most importantly, he was quite handsome. Tiffany insisted that I had taken the bracelet for myself. The handsome police officer frowned. "Miss Tiffany, this is a society ruled by law. Everything you say needs to be backed up by evidence. Just because you say someone embezzled it doesn't mean they actually did. Sabrina still has feelings for my boyfriend. She's just jealous that brother Fitch bought me such an expensive thing. So she wants to keep it for herself and think of him when she sees it. Me? Forget it. Even if Tiffany said something as absurd as the sun rising from the west today, I'm too lazy to refute her." It was obvious that the handsome police officer in front of us was also at a loss for words. "Sorry, that doesn't count as evidence. There is other evidence too." Tiffany put her hands on her hips. "The last time I wore it was in the car that she sold. We retrieved the surveillance footage from that road. The video shows that the bracelet was on my wrist before getting in the car, but it was gone after getting out. Then where's the surveillance video?" "Here." Fitch raised his phone and opened the retrieved surveillance video. After zooming in on the surveillance video, it was indeed clear that the bracelet was there before Tiffany got in the car and disappeared after she got out. "So, what do you say?" Tiffany said triumphantly. But I laughed. "The surveillance is good. But why are you afraid to show the full version? Why do you only dare to show the stitched together beginning and end, and not what you did in the car?" Upon hearing this, Tiffany and Fitch's expressions changed. I imitated Tiffany's coquettish tone. "Brother police officer, I also have a copy of the surveillance. The full version without any editing. Oh, by the way, is there anywhere we can project it? I sincerely invite everyone here to watch it together." I opened the video and it started playing. What a show. The car was shaking regularly in the video. When the camera zoomed in, "Stop it. Don't look. Don't look," Tiffany shrieked. I crossed my arms and sneered. "TSK. So the mistress does no shame. But since you were bold enough to have some fun in the car, why are you pretending to be pure and innocent now?" After saying that, I looked at the handsome police officer. "Officer, do you deal with infidelity here? These mistresses nowadays are really outrageous. They go and have fun in someone else's car, and then when they lose something, they blame the poor car owner, which is me. Who are you calling a mistress?" Tiffany clenched her fists and said defiantly, "On the rainy day a week ago, you clearly broke up with brother Fitch in front of me. since we've already broken up. What's wrong with me going out with him? Not to mention in the car. Even if it's at the beach. It's our personal business. And no one else has the right to interfere. Right. What right do you have to call me a mistress? Oh, that's right. I did break up with Fitch a week ago. I looked at him and said calmly. Do you admit it? Exactly. Fitch took it for granted. You were the one who initiated the breakup. Why wouldn't I admit it? Tiffany is right. Who are you calling a mistress? I broke up with you a week ago. Since we've broken up, you have no right to interfere with me at all. I like having fun with her. So what? Is there a problem? Or is someone jealous? Just listen to that. How can someone be so shameless? There is indeed a problem. I sneered. Took out the printed screenshots of the video that I had prepared before coming to the police station, and threw them at him. Since we broke up a week ago, please explain to the police officer why, on the third day after the breakup, you and Tiffany drove my car to the beach without my permission and did the things that need to be mosaicked in the video. Tiffany's face turned pale instantly. Fitch glared at me through gritted teeth. Sabrina, you're so vicious. You actually tricked us into admitting it. So what if it was a trick? Weren't these two idiots eager to fall into the trap? I scoffed disdainfully and turned to look at the police officer beside me. Officer, I'm the owner of this car. Fitch and Tiffany drove my car without my permission and took it to the beach without my knowledge. Does this count as theft? The handsome police officer cooperated very well. Stealing something worth more than 1,000 yuan can constitute the crime of theft, even if the stolen item is returned later. If the victim's forgiveness cannot be obtained, the perpetrator will generally be sentenced to fixed-term imprisonment of not more than 3 years, criminal detention, or public surveillance, and be fined. The evidence was conclusive. Fitch and Tiffany no longer had the arrogance they had before. For a moment, they could only look at each other in dismay. The handsome police officer made another precise jab. You two have the time to stand here looking stunned. You'd better find a way to get Miss Sabrina's forgiveness quickly. Fitch was quite sensible. It was obvious that he was very reluctant, but he still admitted defeat. Well, Sabrina, I was wrong. When you said we were breaking up, I thought you were just saying it out of anger. Besides, I only borrowed the car and drove it for a day. I returned it to you right away. It's really not appropriate to call it theft, is it? After all, we were together for 4 years. Let's think about our past relationship. We won't hold you responsible for the bracelet, and you don't hold us accountable for the car issue either. The bracelet. What responsibility do I have for the bracelet? If it really goes to court, do you think the judge will listen to your unreasonable arguments? Then she turned sideways and smiled sweetly as she apologized to me. I'm sorry, Sister Sabrina. I really shouldn't have been this late. It's all my fault for eating slowly and delaying your boyfriend from coming to pick you up. Please don't be angry. It's simple. Bow to me sincerely and apologize. And say that you two are shameless and despicable. And that the whole thing is entirely your fault from start to finish. Maybe I'll let you off the hook. You're dreaming. Tiffany's voice became even sharper. Sabrina, I think you did it on purpose. Compared to her stubbornness, Fitch was much more sensible and directly knelt down. He smiled obsequiously at me. Sabrina, we were really wrong. We were despicable and shameless. Everything that has happened is all my fault. Sabrina, my mom is counting on me to pass the civil service exam. Please, just let this go and don't leave me with a criminal record. Okay. As he spoke, Fitch desperately gave Tiffany a meaningful look. Tiffany, at a time like this, are you still going to throw a tantrum like a child? Do you think everyone is your mother and has to spoil you? Tiffany bit her lower lip hard. No matter how reluctant she was, she could only admit defeat for the time being. I'm sorry. All right. After saying that, Tiffany cried again, as if she had suffered a great grievance. Fitch hugged her and patted her back gently. It's okay. It's okay. After apologizing, everything will be fine. Be good. After a while, Tiffany wiped away her tears and looked at me fiercely. Is that enough? We've already apologized to you. Are you satisfied now? Can you forgive us? Can we leave now? I looked at her calmly. Then Sabrina smiled and enunciated clearly. Word by word, I don't forgive you. Tiffany and Fitch suddenly looked up at me, looking as if they had misheard. I shrugged innocently at them. You're right. I did it on purpose. So, I don't forgive you. Apologizing is their duty. They owe me an apology in the first place. But whether to forgive these two people or not is a matter of kindness. I unilaterally believe that I don't need to show any kindness to this despicable couple. You. Fitch pointed at me. Sabrina, you're playing with us. If you have anything to say, save it for my lawyer. After saying that, I left without looking back, letting Fitch and Tiffany curse at me behind my back. It doesn't matter. The judge will deal with them for me. The end.